Hi, I'm Bill Snodgrass, and I'm starting a series of videos on adolescent and young adult romantic relationships. And in this series of videos, we're going to very frankly discuss what's going on psychologically, physiologically, all those kinds of things in these relationships. Let's get started in this first video on how the body responds to romantic arousal. So what happens to the body through the process of romantic arousal? This is a topic that we really need to kind of understand, because the way it affects us socially and psychologically. So there's a physical response to being touched, sometimes being looked at, sometimes looking at things. There's a physiological, biological response. And that response has a specific purpose. And so let's jump into psychology for a second. There's this principle, which I wish that I had made this up, because somebody probably got famous for this. It's called the pleasure-pain principle. So this is what the pleasure-pain principle is. You're not going to be surprised by this. If something is pleasurable, organisms, and humans being an organism, repeat it. If something is not pleasurable, we avoid it. Okay, now the next thing is to bring in this concept of the human as a creature, as a creation, as a whatever you, and this is going to be true no matter whether you're kind of the survival of the fittest or go therefore be fruitful and multiply. There is a benefit to reproducing, and that benefit is the species continues. So however you view the position of humanity on the earth, however you view that, you have to agree that reproducing is a goal of the organism. And therefore, the pleasure-pain principle kicks in, and so the process that leads to reproduction is pleasurable. It is something that it is pleasurable, so that it will be repeated, so that the organism will be reproduced, so that we don't become extinct. Now, what does that mean in terms of you're a young adolescent or you're a young adult in college and you're not ready to reproduce? What does it mean? It means that when you're in a romantic relationship, things are going to happen in your body. Things are happening in your body that are purposefully pleasurable, with the intention of moving you toward making a baby. Now, when I said that to some students a couple weeks ago, I thought they were going to melt. They were shocked. The result was they came to understand what was happening. And so therefore, that's why I'm making these videos. I want you to understand what is going on psychologically, morally, and emotionally. So the first time you see someone and you begin to have romantic thoughts, now there's another paradigm in psychology that says our thoughts are connected to our feelings, which are connected to our thoughts, which are connected to our actions, which are connected to our thoughts, which are connected to our feelings. So it's this circle of thinking, feeling, and doing. So you do something and you think about it and you process it, and that results in feelings. So the physical affects the emotional and the rational, the cognitive. All of this comes to bear when you become cognitively interested in someone And you begin to have thoughts which trigger feelings, and the feelings and the thoughts will cause your body to react to that. And it is a well-proven fact that the thoughts and the emotions can affect the physical. If you want, just Google placebo effect and look at the research on that. Doctors can give sugar pills to depressed patients, and their depression will go away because their thoughts are and their beliefs are, okay? So your thoughts about that person are going to cause a physical reaction in your body. And that begins as in an arousal escalation. The purpose of the arousal escalation is ultimately to make a baby. Now there's a step before the baby. There's a step before the baby, and you know what I'm talking about. And the end result of that step is orgasm. And orgasm is a very pleasurable response. The brain releases a bunch of chemicals. I got a laptop here. I can't even pronounce some of these, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Yeah. I should know these, but here we go. I got the easy ones first. Serotonin, nitric acid. I don't know what that does. The hormone prolactin. I don't know what that does. This other one, this next one, norepinephrine, a pleasure hormone. Oxytocin, another pleasure hormone. Vasopressin, and yeah, that's just the quick Google return on the chemicals. All of those chemicals are in the process of creating the sensation of pleasure. Serotonin is well known as being the chemical that makes things very pleasurable and allows us to have a satisfaction and a resolution to our thought process. You know, I don't want to do a chemistry class. All right. So, the orgasm experience is designed to be extremely pleasurable. And so, I'm going to start drawing. So, I'm using blue for the boys because, you know, boys are blue. And I'm using black for the girls because black shows up really well. And blue shows up well. That's really why I chose blue. And so, in the best case scenario, we reach this event, this orgasm event is very pleasurable. It is there. All of those chemicals that I just mentioned are released. And if I were a really good artist, and if I had drawn this lower, I could put fireworks in here. I'm just gonna draw a star. That's a star. So at this point, we have the fireworks go off. At this point. But a lot of things happened before we got there. So it starts down here. That blue line, the boys. The boys and the girls. They see each other in the hall. Woo-hoo. They see each other in the hall and their body reacts. That tingly feeling, that tingly sensation is the body reacting to what the brain thinks about the person that they saw. Maybe another point along the way is, well, this is C. And this is holding hands. And we get there, something like this maybe. Holding hands. The body responds to that physical thing. Now, all of this below the line is the body's preparation to get here. Holding hands begins to kind of wind up the spring. You see where this is going to go? And we're going to get to the next thing. Let's say an embrace. So we have events and the passing of time going this way, and we have arousal. And just trust me, that's what that word says, arousal. So we get to the embrace, and at the embrace point, we're kind of getting there. And then at some point, we're going to get to there. All of these things in between, are winding up that spring. Now, while the spring is winding up biologically, the brain is processing it psychologically. And depending on your moral point of view and your moral compass and your moral code and the things that you live by, you might begin to create a dissonance like we should have stopped at embracing. Or maybe we get over here, we have kissing. And at the kissing point, things are moving along. And the things between kissing and orgasm are all going to wind that spring up tighter and tighter and tighter. And then your morals come along. Morally, you have said, right here, there is no going past this. This is the end. So what happens to that wound up spring? This is the point I want you to understand. This is what I want you to understand. You have got to psychologically process all of this wound up spring such that you can stop where you want to stop. And if winding the spring so tight makes it impossible, and you have a moral position of stopping, or you don't want to procreate, you've got to figure out where you're going to stop and how you're going to stop there, and how you're going to deal with all of this down here, all of this bent up, wound up spring. Where is all of this going to go? Where is all of this going to go if you stop at that line? Young people who are unmarried, who have a moral stopping place, or even if you don't have a moral stopping place, but you have like a logical reason, I'm not going past this mark, you got to deal with the physical wind up. And then what do? You've got to decide what you're going to do. I'm not going to tell you the answer. But I want you to understand why when you kiss that girl goodbye and you go get in the car and you start driving home and you feel like, yeah, and the boy kisses you goodbye, the young man kisses you goodbye, and you go inside and close the door and you have this like, I need to do something. I'm gonna go eat some ice cream. And you kick off some of these things by I don't know, the delicious cookies and cream, endorphin, a few little serotonin things. You got to figure out what you're going to do. This is intended. This pleasure, this arousal, escalation is intended to lead you to orgasm, so you can create babies, and the species will continue. So you can create babies and the species will continue. And if you stop early, the whole mechanism is still moving, but you turned off. You got off the road when you came to this end point, and all of that energy is still moving towards this, but you're walking off, and that energy is... The students that I shared this with a couple weeks ago, one of them said, "That's why I'm always so angry after a date," or something like that. I was like, yeah, because you got all this, and you got to that line, you got to the goodnight kiss, and that's as far as you were going to go. And all of this energy, all of this motion moving you towards. So what do? Do you not hold hands in the first place? That seems so out of character for the Western culture. It's not out of character for some cultures. Do you just live with the frustration? A lot of people who live by a moral code will do that. They will say, I'm stopping here, and I'm going to reframe this frustration psychologically. What you can do, you can reframe it and say, that longing and that desire that you have that is unfulfilled, you can reframe that and mitigate the frustration and the whatever it is you're feeling. You can do it. Do I have any answers for what you should do on an individual personal basis? Look, if I were like, you know, if I were 14 years old and I was looking at another 12 to 16 years before I can even possibly think about getting here, and if I had like the wisdom of being 56, looking back, weird, I would probably say, I'm gonna set my boundary pretty low down, because I don't want to deal with like what comes next. What is all of this? I don't want to deal. All right, calculus students, here you go. You know the area under the curve? So as y goes up, this piece of this, it's not like, now here's 1, here's 3, here's 9, here's 18. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's cumulative. There you go. Anyway, I'm done. I'm not going to do any more calculus. It builds up. Spring is tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and not tighter by ones. 1, 4, 8, 16, 32. The next step is 64. Do you want to deal with 64 frustrations or 32 frustrations? Maybe all you can do is 16. I don't know. Anyway, all right, you definitely need to share this video, and you definitely need to watch this video. And if you're an adult watching this video, you need to arrange for your kids to watch this video, because there is a decision that has to be made, and what you're going to do in the physical romantic relationship. What are you going to do? How are you going to process the frustration of stopping before you get to the end? You've got to figure out what to do. So share this video. Definitely click the like button. Definitely subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to do more of these. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Share the video with someone who needs to watch it. Subscribe to this channel so you'll be able to catch follow-up videos. And leave me a comment, a question. I will answer the questions if you leave them. I will do my best to answer those questions. See you in the next episode. In a future video, I'm going to talk about the timetable on romantic love. Research suggests there is a shelf life. So that's a forthcoming video. I'm going to kind of report the research on romance